Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've been taking care of yourself. It's been a bit of a rough couple months for us. I've not been uploading as much as I would like to. It's been busy. We've had the kids going back to school, me not working and adjusting to that. And also we had I like to call it the back to school flus. They've been in and out of our house for the past 2 months. So we've been trying to deal with that. But I feel like I'm starting to finally get over that hurdle of being so sick and not feeling well. I mean, you can still hear it in my voice. I still sound very sick. But it's still, it's lingering. It's holding on and not letting go. So of course it makes me feel guilty, that I can't follow through on a lot of things that I want to at the moment. Which kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk about today. Guilt. The guilt that comes along with having a chronic illness. The guilt that comes with not being able to always follow through on what you say you're going to do. Anyone who has a chronic illness can relate to that fact. It's not pleasant. It's something that we deal with. We're harder on ourselves than anyone could ever be on us. We're our biggest critic. And for me personally, guilt is a big thing that I deal with. And I always try and tell myself, okay, you can't control your circumstances. You are sick. You have to deal with that. And it took me a very long time to accept the fact that I'm sick. But we still deal with that guilt and that thought in our head. Okay, try not to make promises that you can't keep. And as a mom, for me, that's difficult because I hate making promises to my kids and then something happens and I'm not feeling well and I can't follow through on that. Same with work. When I was working, I would feel so bad when I would have to call out sick, and I would feel guilty because I couldn't be there and someone else had to come in, or they were just short-staffed, or whatever the case may be. It really eats away at you. The guilt of having to cancel plans last minute. And we need to stop. We need to stop making ourselves feel guilty, because then the guilt stresses us out, and the stress is also not good for us. It tends to make our symptoms worse. So it's kind of like we get into that cycle of feeling guilty, stressing out over things, people trying to guilt us, and it needs to stop. The guilt needs to stop. And I know, of course, I can tell you and I can tell myself, stop feeling guilty. What you're going through is not your fault. It's not like you chose this life, but it's difficult. You can say it, but it's more difficult to put it into practice. I've been living with this disease for many, many years, and I still feel that guilt. I feel that guilt every time I have to cancel plans, every time I have to break a promise to my kids, every time I had to call out sick from work. It's still there. It's still there. And I like to tell myself, oh, hey, whatever. It is what it is. It's not your fault. You can't help it. But it still nags away at you. On some level, it still bothers you. It's not easy to just push that guilt away and just not let it get to you and eat away at you. We say that all the time. Just stop. Just stop putting yourself through that guilt. Stop putting yourself through that stress. And I know as well as you know, it doesn't always work out like that. For me, I try and make sure that I don't plan too far in advance. I try and make plans just a few days out instead of weeks out. I try and make sure that when I do make those plans that I know exactly what we're doing, where bathrooms are at, you know, just so that I'm covered. When I do make plans to go out with friends or go somewhere with the family, I make sure that I prepare like days in advance. Okay, so this morning we're doing this and this and this. I make sure not to eat anything because, you know, I don't want to have to be stuck in the bathroom somewhere or, you know, just have to cancel completely. And it's something that is always going to be an issue, you know, having a chronic illness. Having a chronic illness is something for me and anyone else who has a chronic illness, always going to be an issue. It's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. So why should we keep making ourselves feel guilty over things that we have no control over? I hear it a lot from people in my support Crohn's support groups, you know, and that's a big thing. It's a big thing. The guilt and the shame over something that you have no control over. It's not by choice, you know. And I like to say, okay, it is what it is. I can't help it. You know, these were the cards that I was dealt, and now I have to deal with that. And of course, it's always easier said than done. It's as simple as that. And I like to think of myself as a person who is very, you know, whatever. But of course, there's always in the back of my mind, there's that guilt. There's that little voice that says, oh, you know, you could have, if only you did this and did this differently, or you could have done that. It's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle, and trying to get out of it is rough. And I think that's something that will never completely go away. It's something that will always be there. And we have to learn to just take it easy on ourselves, you know. Give yourself a break. Don't push yourself so much. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to succeed, to be able to get everything done, to be able to do everything, because a lot of times it does not work like that. And the guilt only makes things worse. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it in the long run to let that guilt eat away at you. It just is not worth it. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help your family. It's not worth it. And I know it's tough, and some days it's harder than others, and you want to just throw in the towel and be like, screw it. But I think all of us need to do our best because I think we'll be happier. We'll be able to lead a better life day to day if we can just stop with the guilt, stop guilting ourselves because we didn't get to run all of our errands that day, because we didn't make it to that dinner party, because we couldn't spend 4 hours at the park like we wanted to. If we just take it easy on ourselves and give ourselves a break, it would be so much better for us. It would be better for our families. And I think it's very important that anyone who's dealing with a chronic illness, you know that you are not alone. Everyone feels that way at some point or another, in one situation or another. And it will, I hope, I'm still struggling with it all the time, that eventually it will get better and it will not eat away at me as much as it does. It's something that I struggle with all the time. And I have kids, so I have that mom guilt too, where I don't make promises to my kids anymore. And I do as much as I can with them when I can. Luckily, I have a group of friends, and we're very tight, and we all kind of struggle with our own illnesses, but we take turns with each other. We make sure that, the other one's doing okay. When there's stuff going on with kids and sleepovers and stuff, we take the pressure off each other. We help each other out. And I think it's very important to have a solid group. I think it helps out a lot. It's very important to have that support. Now, my group is very small, very, very small, because after years of making plans and having to cancel plans, and obviously over the years, certain people tend to fall away. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I get it. That's not the friendship they signed up for. I completely understand that. It's not the life I signed up for either. So, I get it. But the group that I do have, I'm absolutely so thankful to have that support group. Same like with my husband, I have my family that supports me. I have that friend group that supports me. So I know that, we take care of each other. And I think battling any kind of chronic illness, any kind of condition, that is definitely helpful. And it also helps ease some of the guilt a little bit that you may be feeling. I feel guilt, like I said, a lot of times. And I feel guilt a lot towards my former self, I guess you would say, to the person that I was before I got sick. I feel guilty for my husband, that I am not that person anymore. I feel guilty that my kids don't have that person as their mom, instead of a sick mom. But we do the best that we can with what we have. And that's why I make sure that when I do have my good days, when I am feeling good, I do as much as I can with my kids and with my family. And then other than that, like I said, we have our group, our community, and we support each other where we can. And I just hope that anyone else dealing with that guilt, dealing with that pressure every day to live life, to make sure that everything's getting done, all the appointments, dealing with family, dealing with work, dealing with whatever you have going on. And if you can't give it 100% all the time, don't feel guilty. Try not to feel guilty, because the guilt just makes everything worse. It just makes it so much harder to live your life. I hope that we can all just kind of take a breath and just relax say it's all right. It's all right to not be able to do it all. It's absolutely acceptable to have a day where you do absolutely nothing. It's absolutely okay to feel down. It's absolutely okay to cry about your situation, to mourn the loss of the person that you were. It's okay. And stop feeling guilty about it, because it's human. It's natural to have these emotions. It's natural to feel. And it's okay to not always be okay. It's as simple as that. It's okay to not always be okay. And we need to keep telling ourselves that it's fine. It's fine. If I don't get the kitchen clean today, I'll get it clean tomorrow. If I don't manage to wash the laundry and fold it and put it away, I'll do it tomorrow. It's all right. Don't feel guilty, because it's not worth your energy. And I think we'll all be a lot better off if we can take it easy on ourselves and just give ourselves a break. We'll be a lot happier. Yeah, it was just something that I wanted to talk about on the channel, because I feel it's important, because I've been talking about it a lot lately, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it, let you know. We've all been in that situation. We've all been there. I work on it every day, struggling with the guilt, and you are not alone in that. So that's going to be all for me today. As you can tell, my voice is starting to give out because I'm still sick. But I will be back hopefully soon. Hopefully this cold will eventually leave my house and leave me alone. And I'll be back to my regular self. But yeah, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.